Most people think a 3D printer just makes little plastic toys or miniatures. But with the right files, the right printer, a little bit of paint, and a lot of practice, you can turn liquid resin into something that looks like it belongs on a collector's shelf. And this is where it started. Welcome back to Old Painter Man. I am the Old Painter Man, and this is Painting with Old Painter Man. Today, I'll be painting Captain America from Status Quo. This model was beautifully sculpted by Felipe Mason, and I don't know who did the pre-supports on it, but man, they did a good job. This model is highly detailed, and I like it a lot. As with all projects, we're going to start off with a whole lot of prep. This includes wet sanding, using needle files, and using my cool little cheater tools, the Hozo NeoBlade and the NeoSander. I've done a few models with the NeoSander now, and I give it an enthusiastic thumbs up. It is an excellent product. I like it a lot. You'll see it in every video going forward. I did have a few little gaps on the flag as well as the base, so I broke out the old Milliput, mixed it up real good, and started applying it in my gaps. Smushed it down and then got it wet and smushed it in some more. Give it about 24 hours to dry and you can start sanding on it. Once everything's prepped, I went through with my first round of primer. I'm using the Kaleido primer the Gaahleri was kind enough to send over. Excellent primer. I will use this going forward. It's so much better than the primer I used to use. One thing I will say about the white primer is it doesn't have excellent coverage. So if you're trying to cover something up, it isn't the best for that, but it adheres well and your paint's going to adhere to it. And really that's what's important. Give the primer a couple hours to dry. And then I went through for my second round of sanding. I do this on almost every project, and sometimes there's even going to be a third round of sanding. I never seem to get everything the first go through, and I don't want those little flaws popping up later to show up in my finished product. After putting a second coat of primer on the white parts and throwing black down on the darker parts, I decided I might as well base coat this shield while I'm here. Gaahleri was kind enough to send me a few samples of their Kaleido paint. This metallic is one of them. They also sent me red, white, and blue, which was very convenient for this project. Gaahleri days are going on until the 15th of September. They're having massive discounts on their website as well as Amazon. There's a code down in the description for an additional 10% off the big discounts they have going on already. And using that link does give me a small commission, which helps support the channel. So if you use it, hey, thanks. Starting off the base, I throw camo green down on the ammo box, and then just start splooshing some paint down all over the base. I use a dark brown, a medium brown, and a light brown, and blend all that together from dark to medium to light. I'm just trying to avoid this being one giant lump of brown. I want there to be a slight variation of tone throughout the base, just to give it a little bit more realism. While I love Captain America, he's not actually my favorite Avenger. I'll be painting him next week. But out of curiosity, who's your favorite Avenger? Let me know down in the comments. Once that paint's dry, I mixed up a little oil wash, applied that to everything, and then threw a brown oil wash down on the sandbags. For the little handles, I just painted black directly down on there. I didn't even apply primer, it didn't need it. Once the oil's dry, I dry brush on a couple lighter colors. I use a light brown first, and then go into an ivory color. I'm trying to focus the lighter color up towards the top middle, because that's the area of the model I want to draw your attention to. For the ammo boxes, I hit it with a quick dry brush. The highlights didn't show up quite as much as I wanted, so I just grabbed a paintbrush and did it manually. The welcome pack for Status Quo is absolutely fantastic. They have an excellent Wolverine, they have Spider-Man, Venom, Cyclops, Iron Man. Their models are highly detailed and very well supported. Join this month, you can get Magneto, Scarlet Witch, and Peter Parker. You don't see too many Peter Parker models, and this one's pretty cool. After the highlights are done on the ammo boxes, I take some metallic and detail those out the rest of the way. Now it's time to start airbrushing on my base tones. Gaahleri sent me a limited assortment of paints, but they did include red, white, and blue, purple, and black. So that's going to be a good start. I used blue for my mid-tone. I mixed a little purple and black into the blue to get me my shadow, and then a whole bunch of white into the blue to get my highlight. For the red, I just mixed in a little purple to give me my shade tone. Luckily, the red, white, and blue that they sent me are a perfect match for Cap's suit, so that worked out great. Paint's going very smooth, dry quickly, and are a pleasure to work with. For my shadows, I hit it from the bottom first to get the underside of all the wrinkles and folds in the suit, and then I start detailing out all the muscles. I'm using a Gaahleri Seeker airbrush with the 0.3 nozzle in it, and that seemed to be the perfect tool for this job. For the highlights, I'm spraying down from above, trying to hit the top part of all the little muscle groups to define each one of them. I want to make sure I'm hitting the top of the muscle groups and leaving some of the mid-tone and all of the shadows. Normally after this part, I have to go through and put a few shadows back in, and I'm pretty sure this one was no different. I put the head onto the body just to make sure all the highlights lined up properly. I didn't want to put the helmet on and have everything all mismatched. For the white, I had other plans for the colors. The Kaleido colors they sent me weren't going to really work for, so I just used the white to give it a base tone to see how it worked, and it sprayed on really well. The red sprayed on great. After 2 coats, it was at maximum saturation. Let that dry for a couple minutes, mixed a little purple in, and did my shadows. After the shadows were done, I put some red back in there just to tone those shadows down a little bit and blend everything in a bit better. You can see this paint dries really glossy, which I actually like. Gloss paint tends to dry harder than matte paints do, so you have less chance of your base coat getting worn off while you're working with the paint. I don't know that that's factually true with the Gaahleri paints, but in my previous experience with other paint, that's been the case. So here's where we're at after the base coats are applied to the suit. It's time to start painting in all the highlights manually. I grabbed my bold Pyrrole red from Pro Acryl, which is the brightest red I own, and start painting in all the edges, the big flat surfaces, in the middle of all the folds and wrinkles. I want to add a lot of dimension to all the little folds and wrinkles, and I felt this step was really necessary to get all those to stand out. You can definitely do this by just spraying above with an airbrush, but I like the control that I get by doing it with a paintbrush. That way I can put the highlights exactly where I want them. After that, I take an orange red and hit the large flat surfaces, as well as the top of the wrinkles and folds and the middle of the wrinkles and folds, just to brighten it up a little bit more in a couple areas. Real quick, MD Jinzhao, they contacted me and sent me over a bottle of resin. It was only 1 bottle, so I couldn't do a lot of testing with it. I will say, detail-wise, it was great. The supports peeled off nice and easy. It had good flexibility for an ABS-like resin. It did leave weird little bubbles on my build plate. I've never seen that before, but it didn't seem to hurt anything. Price-wise, it seems comparable to Sunlu. So if I had the 2 of them side by side, I'd have no problem using either one. They honestly seem pretty interchangeable. So I definitely say grab a bottle, check it out, and see if you like it. Now back to the painting. Do the same thing on the gloves that I did on the boots. And you'll notice this is a reoccurring process across every color. I'll use a midtone, a shadow, and a highlight. Same thing with the red, the white, the blue, the brown. Every color that I do on this, it's just going to be 3 colors. This is definitely a time-consuming process, but I really feel the extra effort shows up in the finished statue. Real quick, I want to thank all my supporters over on Patreon. You guys are absolutely fantastic. I appreciate each and every one of you, and welcome to the new members that have joined. If you'd like to help support the channel, please check out my Patreon, Old Painter Man, and come join in the fun. You'll see some extra pictures of the process, even a fun video of my dog at the moment, and every now and then I'll have some extra content on there that I didn't have time to put in the YouTube video. So please, check it out. With the face, I wanted to give a little extra dimension to the mask just to make sure the features stood out. So I take that light blue to the top of the brow, the top of the nose, top of the cheeks. Then I reinforce the shadows on the sides of the nose, the sides of the head, bottom of the brow. And I just blend all that together with my airbrush to remove any brush strokes that might be left over. I wanted 1 extra layer of highlights on the chest piece just to really brighten that up and keep it in line with the helmet. And it's time to start putting on all the white. You could absolutely mask all that off and airbrush it, but honestly, I just didn't want to. For the leather, again, 3 colors, a dark brown, a medium brown, and a orange brown. For this first dark brown, it doesn't really matter how. I'm just trying to get it on there and get it on nice and tidy. For the medium brown, I'm going to leave a little bit of a gap towards the edge of everything to allow that darker brown to work as my shadow. It gives a little bit of extra separation when you're looking at it. And then for the orange, I'm just going to put in a whole bunch of little scratch marks to add texture to the leather, give it a little bit of extra realism. When I do this, I try to keep in mind where the folds and wrinkles would actually be on leather. So for the pouches, they open up a specific way, so I want to make sure I'm putting those highlights in a way that reinforces that. This mid-tone brown, I try to remember to go through with the grain of the leather, just to add a little bit of extra texture there. Then I finish up all the orange. Add a little silver to all the buttons on the pouches, and then add it to the belt buckle. For the white, I base coated everything in a bone color to work as my shadows. Then I grabbed ivory for my midtone. So I was trying to put the ivory in on all the raised sections, exactly how I did with the red and the blue on the other pieces. After I put in all the midtones, I take that shadow color again, thin it down a little bit, and just glaze that in between to remove some of the brush strokes. And I take a light ivory and hit the top of all the wrinkles and folds, just to make those stand out a little bit more. And then I use my airbrush to blend it in and get rid of the rest of the brush strokes. So as you've seen with every color, it's the exact same process. Shadow color, midtone, highlight, blend it in with an airbrush. This is the best way I found to get a stylized, realistic appearance with the least amount of work. The shield, I know it's going to be beat up, so I'm not really worried about the paint being super smooth. After I put in all the base coats, I take a sponge with a dark brown, the same dark brown I used on the leather, and sponge in some little chips and scratches. I try to focus the bigger paint chips towards the edges. I find that's where the majority of big paint chips happen. And when that's done, I grab some chrome paint and hit the middle of all those little dark brown scratches. This gives the appearance of the exposed vibranium underneath with the dark brown primer that's still showing where the paint has been rubbed off. When I'm weathering something, I've really learned that less is more. For painting Cap's face, I just go through with Advanced Flesh Tone from Pro Acryl and put down my base coat, and then just start building everything up from there. For most portraits, I'm going to use dark warm flesh, and shadow flesh, and then I'll adjust with blues and yellows as necessary. And it's just a lot of back and forth to where I get the shadows and the highlights where I'm happy with them. For the 5 o'clock shadow, I mixed a little bit of blue-black one-step paint in with my shadow flesh, then back in with a million little brush strokes to build up texture and blend everything in. The irises and pupil on this model are completely sculpted in, which was actually kind of cool. Completely removed the guesswork of where the eyes are supposed to be. So after getting those details painted in, and it's time to apply clear resin to the top to give that realistic shine. And here we are. Now it's time for the giant flag. For the flag, I figured it was easiest to paint in all the white first. Then I take my shadow red color and mark out which stripes are actually red on the flag so I don't get that screwed up while I'm coloring it in. Then I grab my shadow blue and start the painstaking process of manually painting in around all of these stars. Then I airbrush on a sepia wash to age the flag and give it a little bit of a distressed look. I figure this is out in the middle of a battlefield, it's probably not going to look like it's off the showroom floor. I reduce the pressure down on my airbrush and stipple on some mud, dirt, and splatter marks. And then go in and brush in all my highlights. Again, keep it in mind which area is going to be facing up and actually have the light on it. To tie everything together, I took a little bit of mud texture paint, put that on Cap's boots, as well as on the base. And then a few dry pigments here and there, just for a little extra flair. And there you go, Captain America. I had a ridiculous amount of fun painting this. It is a challenging model. If you decide to build it and paint it yourself, I say be careful. The flag is heavier than you think. It's attached to the arm, so just keep that in mind when you're building it. If I was building this model over again, I would do a few things differently, but overall, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. I took an absurd amount of pictures of this because honestly, it was just fun to photograph. Now it's placed up on the shelf of statues I have that are either too fragile to ship to somebody or just haven't been given away yet. A big thank you to Statues Quo for providing this model. It's absolutely fantastic. I hope you get a million new patrons over on your Patreon. Your statues absolutely deserve it. They're excellent quality, and I genuinely look forward to painting more in the future. If you like my videos and you haven't already, please subscribe. It really helps me out a lot, and by helps me out, I mean it helps me make more content for you. If you're new to the channel, I'm a former construction worker that left my job to do this full time. I decided to chase doing what I love, and this is it. I really like making YouTube videos for you guys. I love painting these statues. I look forward to it every morning when I wake up, and I hope to make a lot more of them for you in the future. My goal is to actually be able to do 2 of these videos a week, but I'll need a little bit of help from you guys in order to get there. So until next time, get off my lawn.